Hey, so I just wanted to send out a video to talk about what's going on this week, just to kind of reiterate. And so what I thought I'd do is start off by just going over just a few slides from the presentation on Friday. So again, this quarter, these are the things that we're graded on. You have the syllabus. You can get a little bit more into this if you want on the Canvas site. But we got our problem sets, our pre-class questions, and then a traditional final exam later on in the quarter. So again, we're bypassing tests this quarter. And my philosophy, I talked about it a little bit on Friday. So we're getting rid of the tests, which are, in my mind, kind of these high stress situations where people put a lot of work in for like a couple of days, and trying to replace it with this other model where we're sort of working more consistently throughout the semester and maybe not as high stress. That's kind of the hope. So again, we've had some success with this philosophical change. I think a bunch of you did this sort of thing in 100C. I've been trying this in some of my other courses. And so I think, I think it's worked well. Some people seem to like it, but it is a lot more work, right? And so you got to be real careful to sort of keep up with everything. I think that's where the issue can be. So the pre-class questions, we're going to have lectures, pretty much, or sort of meeting times, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10. And so these questions are due 8 a.m. before our meeting time. And again, this is worth 25% of your grade. These are just like we had before in 130A. This is graded just on effort. I'm going to be a little bit more, stringent on these, grade a little bit more rigorously. I'll try to be real clear. Like, for instance, if you make a submission that I don't think is acceptable, I won't just take it off points or whatever. I'll send you an email and let you know that we're looking for a little bit more there. Again, with those kind of questions, I really want to see some evidence that you are working hard and that you're, actually doing the reading and trying to use the reading to answer these questions. That's sort of what we're looking for there. But again, you can be completely wrong with the PCQs. It's just about, I want to see sort of where you're at so I can help to sort of build the lecture. You also have the option to receive an email receipt to keep those in case, you might, some people like to sort of have a record of their answers, so you can do that. And then generally, we discuss the PCQs, I would say, almost every time in the next class period. So if you want to know the answer, we'll talk about it in that class period. So it's definitely there. The problem sets, so there'll be 9 problem sets. The first one's already assigned. And the way we're doing this is in this model of allowing corrections. So there'll be a draft due Wednesdays at 3 p.m. That's right before our weekly homework workshops. And so the idea being, you sort of try as hard as you can to get as much done as you can with this, to try to really think about this material. We really want to emphasize that you really want to try to do this on your own and not try to look up answers somewhere. So turn the draft in on Wednesday, go to the workshop, and then you can turn your correction where you can, use whatever you get from the workshop. You can use the solutions. So we'll post the solutions basically right when they're due to make corrections. And as long as you made a good attempt on each draft problem, then you can get full points on each corrected problem, even if you weren't correct. All right, and by attempt is we want you to actually try something, maybe get to an answer. Maybe there's something you're missing. If you're really kind of stuck, we ask that you kind of go back and maybe reflect on why you're stuck. Talk about, how I don't really see how this relates to what we did in class. Maybe go a little bit in depth, try about the things you try, right? I mean, so we want to sort of get into this practice of trying things, even if they don't work, and just sort of discuss what you're going on there. So again, we'll have some conversations with this over time to sort of let you know how things are going and maybe adjust things. And then the corrected homework is due at Friday at 5 p.m. But again, what's nice about this model is you get to, once you turn in that draft, reflect with the TAs, with me in office hours, with your friends, with whoever, and with the solutions, and try to sort of fix whatever you wasn't correct for your draft. And then just fair warning, there will be a traditional final exam at the end of the quarter. So we're not doing traditional tests or traditional quizzes. Again, it's sort of a philosophical shift, but there will be some sort of a traditional type exam. We'll sort of talk more about that later, but I just wanted to be real clear, because this model is different. So there's not as much high stakes and pressure, but there is this thing which it's worth 10%, but still it is an exam. So I think there's some pressure there. There's a picture of me. And just real quick, I just wanted to kind of go over a little bit from our Canvas site. So here's the Canvas site, not too much there yet. Our syllabus is here with more information, so you can look that up. Again, send an email or go to our Piazza site. You should have received an email with the sign-up information for the Piazza. Here's my Zoom address, the course schedule. So here's our course schedule. It looks something kind of like this here. And so this, again, so this is Friday's lecture. So tomorrow is lecture 2. And the readings, there's a little bit of reading in Griffiths. Again, I talked about this on Friday, but for the first couple of lectures, I've posted some reading material from another textbook. So just the first couple of chapters of McIntyre. And I sort of feel that that's the more important thing to be reading for these. So we do have the Griffiths, but if I'm sort of suggesting to do that. And what's nice is McIntyre does this different approach where he starts with the topic we're going to start with, which is spin at the beginning. And so he uses spin to kind of teach us quantum mechanics. So it's review. Maybe you'll be bored reading it. I don't think so. I think it's nice to see a different perspective on these things, but you'll also learn how spin works. And it's a really nice system to start to learn quantum mechanics, this sort of basic two-dimensional Hilbert space. So that reading is on Canvas as well. Over here is our PCQ, so I can click on the PCQ. And so this, again, is the thing that you're going to go through. So put your email, your student number without letters, and then you answer these questions. And then generally, there's a follow-up where I want you to explain what you're talking about. Again, just to kind of get a feel, what you're thinking about, where you're coming from with this, which hopefully can help me design a better lecture. So here's a couple questions here. And then at the end, we always have this thing, do you have any questions from the reading? And here, if you can click on this if you want to send yourself a copy of the response. It's just kind of nice sometimes to have a record of that, I would think. But totally up to you. You don't have to do that option. There's sort of the suggestion box, which is basically just a place where you can go and send suggestions that you think might help the course, just like I've had before. So please feel free to use that. Here's the supplementary reading. So I just wanted to make sure that you see where that is. So again, this is just the first couple of chapters of the McIntyre book. And so this first chapter is Stern-Gerlach experiment. So again, I would really emphasize going through this. I mean, I think it's a really good thing that probably, you'll see there's strengths and weaknesses in every textbook, but I do think McIntyre covers this better than Griffiths does. It's something you probably, did this in the 4 series as well, but it's nice to kind of go back and kind of reiterate and some of that stuff there. So you've got that. And then finally, our homework. So here, example corrections. So I think most of us have been through this in 100C, and I'm basically doing the same kind of thing. But here's just a little file that we have that kind of just goes through and just gives you some examples of what we're looking for with the corrections and, sort of what we're looking for. So it definitely would be a good idea to kind of go through that. I think very quickly. Again, we'll try to have a conversation, make sure everyone's on the same page, because this is different than what we've sort of traditionally done. And then finally, our first homework. The idea with the first homework is that it's essentially, I would call it review. Okay, so I mean, that doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it's just sort of covering some of the topics in 130A that maybe will be most important. I thought it would be good to kind of go through and work on some of these. So again, our routine looks something sort of like this. Here's the PCQ. So our routine is, so we do the PCQ. So you've got the homework. The draft of that homework is going to be due on Wednesday by 3 p.m. And then you can go to your workshop to talk with the TAs and talk with other students to hopefully fill in any gaps you might have in that. And then the graded corrected version is due 5 p.m. They're both on Gradescope. And again, there's a PCQ every day. I hope I've covered everything. Again, if not, just drop me an email or put something in the suggestion box. All right, so really excited to see you guys again on Monday and talk this week about stuff. Thank you so much.